Welcome to Tidbit Talkin. This series is just spewing out assorted thoughts about boatloads of entertainment media. Some ideas are serious, others not so much. There will be spoilers for the series currently featured, but generally only vague references to any other connected ones in a shared universe. Now, with all that out of the way, here we go. Zero strength supplying shade shifting shenanigans showing up in entry number 2, and their recent ceasing may have given CL the inspiration she needed to finish her energy source. Something along the lines of discussing with Servo how fascinating their hero's body is, and then having a delightful little aha moment or what have you. Speaking of part of that last thing, the form function must have grown to accept individual altering chips as Sir Cyber Swordsman's ever-evolving battle body decided such an enhancement method produced much less strain for a basically identical result. Anyway, Zero started pretty rapidly edging towards his true ultimate potential because of both basic survival need junk related to worrying about what that crazy Dark Elf might possibly do, and also some super sentimental sort of stuff stirred up by when and seeing his Lou-bombing best bud's body being blown up. The outcry hoopla originating from Omega has a kinda double-meaning dual-purpose thing going on. That is, the instinctive old his body parts reflexively reach out to Zero because they want their first personality program soul wants it back, while the new persona currently inhabiting this Sealy vessel wants the greatest obstacle to everlasting ultimate metal form enjoyment gone for good. Harpuya is likely compelled to follow Copy X Mark II's orders because Vile constructed it based on data Dark Elf siphoned out of the real deal at 2's end. Basically, this crappy clone can command successfully because of some component both he and the more stably speaking first game antagonist possess that makes him feel overwhelmingly real to mechanical folks who are also based on that one dude. Secret discs were of course always around before. They are just not an observable by the player thing until this game because Resistance held tech wasn't present that could decipher data in such a form. The chain rod and shield boomerang must have gotten damaged on the way out of Neo Arcadia after El Piso's defeat. Also, the original triple or that just mentioned spear form never carry over because Captain Fancy Goggles doesn't ever have consistent repair parts available. The defense doodad is much simpler to reproduce identically because round things which can spin Z-Saber really quickly is covered by a wide array of components, like various fans or whatever. Recoil Wrath requiring rigs are put in place to block possibly greedy minions from stealing those precious, currently still rare, energy resources. Contraptions like this must be for automatically generating spare segments for damaged workers and soldiers. The Attacking X Thingamajig production is simply its built-in defense system. These apparently helpless, white roby shapes those 8 gentle judges utilize must be for the deduction part of their jobs. Those unique attack forms, on the other hand, are for dishing out potential punishments. The ability to feed elves without a trans server must also be part of this dude's natural combat growth concerned mini-transforming situation. Childray in Rabida was probably sent to this area because he's the only one of Vile's numbers who's small enough to hijack that exploratory combat sub-dealy. Enemy-ran weaponry plants such as this one didn't get assaulted prior to these events for a few reasons. 1. Lack of resources before a certain mad general joined with the Resistance and helped them find/develop a swanky new base. 2. Winged Wonder was generally acting reasonable as of late, so the stuff produced was typically expected to be used for Neo Arcadia's normal security, not hostile invasion craft. 3. CL and Co. must rely on stealthily stealing survival stuff from such areas on occasion. These pods in the background must manufacture main boots. Also, at some point prior to the last game's ending at least, they attempted to make a new body which is durable enough to hold certain vital locks, so Real Act could stop Mother Elf steel guarding and sort this world trouble out for everybody. Looks like honeybees are still in dire need of always present security machines this far in the future. These fake vermin producers may also contain junk that nourishes real rats which randomly decide to settle in them, as such creatures often do with anything containing holes. Perhaps humans were forced to leave this particular residential area because the plants overgrowing here are more than a little poisonous to them. Major Mother, the Dark Elf. This statement is a sort of half-truth kind of deal in the sense that Vile didn't create said being, but rather simply converted her into a shadowy themed state. This specific language probably must be used, because these babies are capable of determining who is spewing lies due to the Magic Tech Elves' original purpose as Sigma virus eradicators. That is, they were designed as being innately able to tell when words don't align with what an individual fully accepts as true on every level, so that one namesake villain fellow's influence/presence could always get detected. This glowing business second version counterfeit corrupt commander is partaking in may be some kind of signal sending meant to draw a certain powerfully glowing dark ball towards him and Vile. Those Neo Arcadians located on this missile must have been deployed to scour that living area's remains for the Dark Elf. That main maintenance room is locked during the Airmaster's recovery because of folks like this dude. Even if he didn't actually want to kill Harpuya, he'd still interfere with the recovery quite a bit, if only through sheer annoyance power. This recklessly revived regionally regal Reploid having a kinda different weakness was probably an intentional design choice of Evil Jarhead Guy, just in case the element-focused Guardians decide to strike his forces instead of Zero. At the very least, his former vulnerability to fire would make things way too easy for fighting Fafnir, who'd likely attack not only because he loves a good scrap, but also since raiding this desert would generate much nostalgia. This place is relatively safe compared to those last game Explorer temples because Neo Arcadia was working on updating the thing for modern base use, following it no longer being needed as a baby elf location distraction thingy. Foolish Blizzard bot may have been chosen for resurrection because he's the ice commander Leviathan likes least. Vile and Mar2 move to a new stoutly secure section for their human civilization ruling operations because those Guardians are too familiar with the main one for it to be safe. These warning schematics on display here probably showcase a certain legendary Reploid's apparent weaknesses. They all would have been dug up so that extra mad scientists could successfully perform maintenance on his prized main enforcer. Fake Episode 2 may have been instructed by Vile to transform after victory if he actually defeated Zero as a means of ensuring his systems remain fully functional following such an overwhelming battle. Thus, his master's martyr takeover plan could still go off without a hitch, even if numero less than uno somehow lost. X and Zero in turn, via wily countering light shenanigans, were designed with better night vision than old model ultra-versatile androids because of how many electricity-focused robot masters the original Mega Man faced off against. Originally, these menacing mini-moth machines may have been for cleaning the air whenever this place goes into a nightly initiated reserve power mode. They would have been programmed to head for vital energy supplying light sources during the day, so charging can occur while everyone/thing else enjoyed that extra fresh, breathable malarkey. This generator is self-turning just in case the only employees on shift currently are low-mobility mechanoids and/or humans. Frost Flame Fabricate over here must serve both as security and also a tester for new versions of those nifty elemental chips. Cold Concern Kill Contraption Cat Tank is designed the way it is for at least one of these two reasons. A. Centuries of warring have changed the American landscape so much that historians can no longer be sure whether those deserts just Lance grew in were of the hot or cold variety. B. It's just a joke choice because somebody thought it'd be cool if such flora was in Antarctica in addition to Arizona. Volteal stuttering a bit must be because those loose wires' energy signatures are interfering with his power set somewhat. On top of those ginormous E-crystal loads mentioned upon conquering these particular foes, there must have been junk for Omega repair and enhancement being hauled up by this massive elevator. This would mostly be because they can't be sure how heavy parts old enough to be compatible with the true ancient Reploid body would be. Plus, they would also need full-on definitely huge things of varying weights for the aforementioned Destruction God's armor shells, especially that second one. On that note, all this stuff thrown together here may have been intended for an upgraded version of Mega Man 3's Gamma at one point. Rosalnol must have been attending to other patients in their personal quarters while Harpuya was waking up. Omega and the Dark Elf combined can grant someone control over almost all Reploids because of code remnants dug up from a certain mind-altering virus and the crimson-colored incubator war machine it originated in. Ghost Champion is able to disable this hypnotic madness because of knowledge he gained while monitoring the Sleeping Zero systems during that at least 1 century-long time period his own series and this current one. Phantom gifts only an ultimate foot chip instead of a body and head one too, because those wacky baby elves prevent him from fully mastering cyberspace quickly enough. The lab Vile commandeered, which includes current main character's former resting spot, must have been where Wily originally created him. After all, no other location would have the plans, parts, and other resources necessary to truly eradicate digital disease data and copy his body. Also, X may have based Neo Arcadia's defensive systems on old fortress lands found there. Hence, the plethora of boss repeat options right throughout its various high-clearance demanding sectors. Dr. Light's greatest creation most likely used the last of his energy purifying this Dark Elf by pausing it during one of those brief moments where that sinister cyborg's hack job was fading. Endings are a pain, but all of you are fantastic. See ya.